Let me ask you something. Do you know how much alimony laws have changed in just the last 5 years? What if I told you that in 2025, the rules around spousal support are shifting again, and this time, it could affect thousands of divorces across the country? Whether you're going through a separation, thinking about filing for divorce, or just want to understand your financial rights and responsibilities, you need to hear what's coming. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the updated 2025 alimony rules, what's changed, what stayed the same, and how it could impact your life starting now. Welcome back to U.S. Family Law Clarity, where we break down complex legal topics into clear, everyday language so you can make smart, informed decisions when it matters most. I'm glad you're here, because today's topic is one of the most misunderstood and emotionally charged areas in family law: alimony, also known as spousal support. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what alimony means in 2025, how the courts are applying the new rules, and what steps you can take today to protect yourself or your loved ones. So let's dive in. First, let's clarify what alimony actually is. Alimony is a legal obligation for one spouse to provide financial support to the other after a divorce or legal separation. It exists to level the financial playing field, especially when one spouse earns significantly more than the other, or if one spouse gave up a career to support the family or raise children. But not all alimony is the same, and not every divorce involves alimony. There are several different types of spousal support that courts may award. There's temporary alimony, which is granted while divorce is still in progress. There's rehabilitative alimony, meant to support the low-earning spouse while they gain skills or education. There's permanent alimony, which despite the name isn't necessarily forever, but it can last for many years, especially after long-term marriages. Then we have lump sum alimony and reimbursement alimony in certain cases. These categories still exist in 2025. But the way courts determine whether alimony is awarded and how much is evolving under the new rules. So what's new in 2025? A few key changes have taken effect this year that you absolutely need to understand. First, let's talk about duration. In 2025, many states have adopted more standardized formulas for determining how long alimony should last based on the length of the marriage. This is part of a broader effort to bring more consistency to spousal support awards. For example, in several jurisdictions, marriages under 10 years may now result in alimony lasting no more than 50% of the marriage's duration, unless exceptional circumstances are proven. So if you were married for 8 years, spousal support might only last 4 years unless the judge sees a compelling reason to extend it. Second, income disparity calculations have become more formulaic. In the past, judges had significant discretion to determine alimony based on a variety of subjective factors. While discretion still exists, many states are now using income-sharing formulas that consider both parties' gross and net income. These formulas help reduce wide variations in alimony awards from one case to another. So if you've heard someone say, "I got this much alimony," so you probably will too, that's no longer a safe assumption. Your situation will be assessed more precisely based on measurable financial data. Another big shift in 2025 is the way courts are treating cohabitation and remarriage. In most states, if the receiving spouse remarries, alimony ends. That hasn't changed. But what has changed is the stricter enforcement around cohabitation. If the recipient is living with a new partner, even if they're not legally married, courts now have broader authority to terminate or modify alimony based on financial interdependence. So if someone is living with a significant other and sharing expenses, the paying spouse can petition to have support reduced or stopped. This change aims to close what was previously a major loophole. Also important, tax implications. While the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act eliminated the federal tax deduction for alimony payers and made alimony income tax-free for recipients in divorces finalized after January 1, 2019, some states in 2025 are taking steps to reintroduce state-level deductions or credits for spousal support payments. This means you might see tax consequences differ between federal and state levels, which could complicate your financial planning. It is more important than ever to consult with a family law attorney and a tax advisor. When drafting or reviewing a spousal support agreement, let's talk about gender dynamics because this often goes unspoken. Traditionally, most alimony recipients were women, especially in marriages where one partner was a stay-at-home parent. In 2025, we're seeing a shift. More men are requesting and receiving spousal support as the economic landscape changes, and more women become primary earners. Courts are increasingly gender-neutral in their decisions, focusing entirely on financial need and earning capacity, not gender roles or stereotypes. This change reflects the reality of modern relationships and should be encouraging to anyone feeling hesitant to ask for what they are legally entitled to. There are also updates regarding the modification and termination of existing alimony agreements. One of the most significant changes in 2025 is a streamlined process for requesting modifications. If your financial circumstances have changed significantly, maybe you lost a job, became disabled, or retired, you can now petition the court for a modification more easily, especially if the original agreement was long-term or open-ended. The burden of proof is still on the petitioner, but new rules have created clearer standards for what qualifies as a substantial change in circumstances. A major point to keep in mind is that courts are taking a closer look at self-imposed financial hardship. For example, if someone quits a high-paying job voluntarily and then seeks a reduction in alimony payments, the court may deny the request. Judges are scrutinizing whether changes in income are genuine and involuntary. This is to prevent abuse of the system, especially in contentious divorces. Now let's touch on enforcement. In 2025, enforcement mechanisms have become more tech-integrated. Some jurisdictions now allow wage garnishment for delinquent alimony payments through automated systems connected directly to employers. Others are leveraging digital platforms for easier case tracking, payment history, and compliance monitoring. What this means is, if you're not paying court-ordered support, it's going to catch up with you fast. And if you're the recipient and payments stop, you now have more tools to enforce the order without spending years in court. If you're entering into a new divorce in 2025, one piece of advice I'll leave you with is this: negotiate your alimony agreement with as much clarity and foresight as possible. The courts are moving towards standardized support, but they still give weight to mutually agreed upon terms, especially those that are well documented and clearly stated in writing. Mediation and collaborative divorce options can give you more control over the outcome, including the flexibility to set your own payment terms, duration, and conditions for modification. And if you're already divorced and paying or receiving alimony under an older agreement, review your paperwork. You may be entitled to a modification under the new laws. Or, if you're worried your current agreement may be challenged, now is the time to consult a legal expert and prepare. The law doesn't automatically change your order, but it does open new doors for both payers and recipients to revisit and revise what might no longer be fair or sustainable. Let's bring it all together. The 2025 updates to alimony and spousal support reflect a growing trend toward fairness, consistency, and accountability. Duration limits based on marriage length, more precise income-based formulas, tougher rules around cohabitation, a more inclusive view of who can receive support, and stronger enforcement tools to make sure agreements are honored. These changes don't make divorce easy, but they do make the outcomes more predictable and grounded in financial reality. At the end of the day, knowledge is power. The more you understand how the law works today, the better equipped you'll be to protect your future, support your family, and move forward with confidence. Whether you're negotiating spousal support, modifying an existing agreement, or just want to plan ahead, stay informed, get professional guidance, and don't wait until it's too late. If this video helped clarify things for you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a future update. Here at U.S. Family Law Clarity, we're committed to bringing you real answers to real questions without the legal jargon. And if you've got a question or experience about alimony that you think others could learn from, drop it in the comments below. I read everyone, and your story could help someone else make a better decision. Thanks for watching, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next one.